Well, hello everyone. We're going live today. Super good to see everyone. I love you guys. How's everyone doing today? It's a Sunday. Had a bunch of scoops today. How's the audio? Everything sounding good? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Hello, Petsotic. Hey, it's all good. Sounds great. Awesome. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. It's my first time live streaming, so excuse any any technical difficulties. Yeah, just wanted to get online, go live, talk about some poop scoops, talk about just life in general. Jeff's Lawn and Landscaping, how you doing? I'm doing great, Jeff. It's good to see you today. My arm's a bit sore. I forgot to put some CBD balm on it. I did some gnarly scoops today, but yeah, I'm doing awesome. Fritz the Horrible. Hey, my dude, you're all good. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback. But yeah, today's a live stream celebrating 1,000 subscribers, which is just crazy to me. I just how many people enjoy my little corner of the internet, right? I started this business in December of 2020. I remember telling my girlfriend we were out on a trip to Moab, Utah, and just one day I told, like, we were in the hotel after a crazy adventure, and I told her, hey, I started a poop scooping business. I have my Facebook page open and everything, and I started just posting on it, and it's just been a wild ride so far. Just all the people that I've met so far, learning more about myself as a business owner and entrepreneur, being able to make content for everyone. It's just been an amazing experience just starting a poop scooping business, and just it's just crazy to see how far I've been going, and I just can't wait to see how much more this is going to go. Congrats. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My buddy Steven Simmons from dippity-doo.dog in Utah. Congrats. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, and I miss your face. Um, but yeah, I want to go through some pooper scooper stories. This is going to be like an open Q&A as well. So if you have any questions, if you want to reach out, this is your time, guys. We're celebrating life. We're celebrating being a pooper scooper, and just everything, right? So my very first scoop, I just want to go through this quick story, right? So I tell my girlfriend about starting my scooping business, right? I think it was around December 12th when I started my business. And then I posted on my Facebook page, I posted an image or a GIF of this dog scooping up his own dog poop. And I thought that was, I thought that was funny, right? And other people actually thought that was funny too. So this one lady, she actually reached out to me like 4 or 5 days later, and she asked me to like scoop her yard. And this was my very first time scooping a yard, and I was so nervous. I was at my girlfriend's house at the time. She made me breakfast, or I think she made me breakfast after, but I was just super nervous. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like I just watched some YouTube videos from Erica from Croup and Spoop and Scoopin'. Shout out to Erica. She's changed so many people's lives. But I watched a bunch of her videos, and I bought some supplies. I bought a white bucket, and unfortunately, this piece of shit, this thing is the worst. But I didn't know. I bought this for my very first scoop, and I go to her house. I scheduled it for like 8, 8 in the morning, and I went to her house. I messaged her, and her entire yard was covered in landmines. It was all frosted over too because it's in December and shit is frozen solid. And it took me using this piece of crap for over an hour trying to just pick everything up, and that was not that was not a fun experience. Um, but I did it, right? I did it after like 40 to 45 minutes, and it was just an amazing feeling, right? Like I started something, and I was actually able to accomplish getting my first customer, and she actually stayed with me for like a while. She ended up leaving after like a couple of months, but it's just one of those things, right? Like if you have to put your mind to stuff, and you actually have to commit. I hear a lot of stories. I get a lot of scoopers and people who want to start the business from all over the country. They always reach out to me, and a lot of people get nervous to start. And honestly, there's nothing much you can do other than start. How many more days have to pass of you dreaming about having a better future, of you being tired of being a punching bag for your boss at a dead end job that's pissing you off and you're miserable, and you just don't do anything about it, right? So that's why I started making my videos. Like I wanted to show people that it's actually possible to start a business, to do something. Scooping is gross. It could be really gross, but you meet a lot of people, you learn a lot about yourself. So I'm just grateful for all of you watching on the live stream. I'm grateful for everyone that I've talked to throughout the years. I'm grateful for all the friends that I've made, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been able to make for myself. Good job, 1,000. Thank you, Jeff. It's been a crazy 2.5 years. I started my YouTube channel in July of 2021. So I started scooping December 2020. And then I start after 6 months, after I started having a couple of weekly customers, I decided to record my videos or record my scoops, I mean, just to show that it's actually possible to start this kind of business. Fritz the Horrible. I was dude who reached out on Instagram and showed you a flyer design inside. After a few ghosted me, I have my first customer now. Setting up the first scoop this coming week. It's a start. Yo, Fritz. Can you hear that? Let me do that again for you. Congrats. The very first customer is the hardest customer to get. But once you can do that, if you can do it once, you can do it twice, and you can do it thrice. And that's how you grow your business. And I bet it was an amazing feeling, right? You weren't expecting someone to actually reach out to you, especially after getting ghosted. And the thing about being a business owner, you really have to learn to get comfortable with people saying no to you. You have to expect the no. I was listening to a podcast today. Uh, I was listening to the podcast. I was listening to a podcast today, and they were mentioning how a sale doesn't start until the customer says no, right? Everyone already comes into these preconceived notions of sales calls, or when someone tries to like offer you something, you're immediately thinking, no, what the hell are you trying to sell me? I don't want that, right? But if what they're offering you is aligned to what you need or the things that you value, and you start warming up to them after a prospect call, that's when they'll go from no to maybe to yes. So the hardest part is getting that first customer. So congrats. LOL. LOL, thanks. Right on. Yeah, yeah. Hand pink waving. Oh, JP. JP, hello. Good to see you. Oh yeah, I know I'll get plenty of rejection, just the nature of the beast. Yeah. When you can come to terms with that, it makes being a business owner a lot easier. I used to be super butthurt. I would get salty all the time when people would say no to me. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm the greatest person out there. How can you say no to me? But just because they said no to you right now doesn't mean they're saying no forever. Just some people are, they just might not be ready right now. So that's when you just got to continue fostering those relationships, um, building rapport with them, continue outreach. Um, if you just stop talking to someone after the first no, then you're going to run through people really, really fast. And people just don't say yes on the first try, you know? Talk about gross. I just got back from a client of mine. He owns a kennel and I cleans his yard. And the gutters in his building, that's a smell I'll never forget. Uh, that is not the. I can even imagine gutter cleaning, you know? Like, especially after, like, now with all the winter, the snow, no, the leaves falling, and then just marinates and just soaks up all the residue and water. Like, sometimes I think scooping is gross, but then you see gutter cleaning or other types of businesses, and yeah, just hats off to hats off to all of the service-based people out there because we're in a society now where people just want things done for them. We've got Uber Eats, DoorDash. You can get anything serviced for you, right? As long as they're paying you, you'll have some business, right? So I fundamentally believe that's the society we're moving into. We're we're not going to have a shortage of white collar jobs, people working in offices or working remotely. We're going to have a shortage of people um, not knowing how to do shit, frankly. You know, it goes back to the olden days, like the Renaissance times, where the blacksmiths and the people who made leather, people doing work with their hands. A lot of people went to them for a product or a service. And I really think with our society now, society moving towards that direction. So the more you start growing your skills, the more you start applying those skills, you're going to go really far. Petsodic. I already have a business in the pet industry. I sell all pet products, have services as well as aquarium maintenance and pet sitting. That's cool. And I want to add poop scooping services. How do I start? How do you start scooping dog poop? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to have um, some sort of website, right? Either a Facebook page or a Google My Business profile, right? You need to have some area on the internet where people can congregate to and they know that you exist, right? And at that point, if you make a Facebook page, that's pretty simple. You start posting on community groups. There will be a bunch of community groups in your town and state for people who are dog lovers or people who are interested in like home maintenance. Those are the types of groups that you really want to focus on. So you can just post in that group and just start advertising. A lot of these community groups, they'll have specific rules. Um, like you can't promote your business. You can only promote your businesses on Wednesday or Friday, right? So you just want to make sure that you follow those community guidelines, but then you start advertising, right? Or start posting in those community groups. And what I would recommend is we all have a network of people, right? You have friends, family, neighbors. Talk to them and say, "Hey, I'm starting a poop scooping business. Do you have any dogs? Do you have any dogs? Can I service your yard for free and you provide me a uh, testimonial or a review and allow me to take before and after pictures or pictures of all the bags of poop that you fill up, right? So even though you're offering your services for free, it's going to give you that experience of, okay, this is the motion, these are the motions that I'll go through when I'm scooping dog poop. This is how I should communicate with someone. But the biggest thing is building out your testimonials. So that's why I would recommend at least working with your friends and family or like your network and offer your services for free for at least their first appointment, right? Um, hopefully it's not like, hey, they have 3 months worth of poop and you're going to scoop them for free. Never do that. You know, like this is, I'm going to die on this hill. And I keep telling everyone this all the time, how I'm so annoyed with people offering services for free. But when you're first starting out and when it's your core group of friends and your network, yes, you should offer stuff for free because they're trying to help you out and you're trying to build your testimonials and try to get some before and after pictures just so you can post on your Facebook page. Croopin' Poopin' Scoopin'. Hey, Anthony, just wanted to pop in and say hi. Congrats on going live. Erica, I tip my hat off to you. I'm sure everyone knows Erica from Croopin' Swoopin' Scoopin', right? She's the godmother of scooping on YouTube. Honestly, like watching Erica's videos, they've fundamentally changed the trajectory of my life. I've given her plenty of props when we did our compilation video together, but watching her videos, learning about this industry, and getting the courage to actually start was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Um, I sat on the idea of scooping for like almost a year and a half. Like I started watching Erica when like she just started making her YouTube channel or YouTube videos. Her videos just started popping up on my feed. I guess I was looking like side hustles 2020 side hustles 2020 because I started like in COVID, right? But I sat on that idea for months and years, and just one day I was like, screw it. I need to do something about this. So Erica, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm never gonna stop singing praises to Erica because of how she's impacted my life and my family's life. And I know she's impacted countless people. So Erica's doing good work out there. JP, how many of your clients are 55 plus communities? Do you have to deal with whoever runs it, or is it individual houses if you do have 55 plus community clients? So I have one customer who she lives in an apartment complex, but the outdoor area where I scoop, it's like a public area, right? So because I'm only servicing her, I only work with her. So she receives all the bills, she pays it. I'm communicating with her. I don't deal with anyone on the property. Now I also have an apartment complex as a client, and I work with the property manager and the regional property manager for that location, and I'm in communications with them all the time. And those relationships are the most important, right? Because commercial accounts, they pay you a shit ton of money. It's a lot of work to manage those types of accounts, but they pay you a lot. So you always want to try to foster those relationships with the community manager, with the property manager, the regional manager. Send them gifts, go to the office, try to make sure they see you in person. Just because they deal with vendors all the time. They deal with vendors all the time, and I actually was talking to the regional manager like this week. I'm part of a rental housing association in my state, and I became a member in that association because of this regional manager. She called me. I'm actually going to segue into my first apartment complex, right? So I'm scooping a customer's house and I get this phone call, and it's this regional manager, right? And she's talking about how there's a huge pet waste problem in her community, in her community. So I'm talking to her, and she eventually tells me about this rental housing association. So I joined that association, and it's through that association where I did my trade show, where I had that big ass booth, spent thousands of dollars trying to just get my name out there. But I continued going to the that association. They have general membership meetings every single month. I go to those meetings. I put myself out there. I I help out as a volunteer, like helping people sign in for each meeting. I've become very close with a lot of the members of that association, offering my video editing services to them so that they can like flesh out all of this content that they make for their members. To the point where I'm actually nominated for an outstanding service award for that association. Right, this Friday they have something called the Topaz Awards, where they do a bunch of different awards for everyone in the rental housing industry in that association, and I got nominated because of that. And it was all because of the relationship I made with this regional manager. So I reached out to the regional manager and I thanked her. I was like, hey, thank you so much for letting me know about this community, about this association. I've been able to network and meet more people, get my business name out there. And she's just completely, she's so grateful. She tells me how she deals with a lot of vendors, and most vendors suck. They don't communicate. They don't keep their word, right? And she told me, like, because I'm proactive, because I put myself out there, because I maintain the promises that I promised them. She says I'm like one of the best vendors that I work that she works with. So apartment complexes, they're awesome customers to have. It's kind of risky because if that property management company ends up selling the property to like another organization, then you might lose a contract. You have to go through the whole bidding process again. But if you're building relationships with the property manager and the regional manager, even if they go to a different property or a different location, at least they'll still remember you and they'll contact you in the future for more services for that property or for another property. Love your live stream setup. Thank you. Thank you. I'm using StreamYard. StreamYard is awesome. It's making everything super, 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 super simple. The floor gutters, there's a bunch of black silt and rotten dog food. That is so disgusting. I don't even want to imagine. I saw a lot of dog poop today, and having dog poop with like rotten dog food, just that is no bueno. I already see it. I worked with 18-year-olds out of high school and don't know how to work with basic computer troubleshooting, shut off and shut on. They had iPads provided in district. Hey, our society is, I mean, I'm not trying to get political. We all see the craziness that's happening in the world, right? But our society is going. So continue to build your skills, continue to put your name out there. It's going to help you in the long run. JP, do you have your own dogs? Could you please share some of the safety and sanitation precautions you take to reduce chances of passing things to your own pets? So I never had a dog until I moved in with my girlfriend, and now we have one dog, and his name is Dax, and he's so amazing. I love him. Um, the sanitation and decontamination is one of the biggest issues that we have in this industry. A lot of people don't try to clean their equipment, so there's a couple methods that you can do. I know a lot of people, they have like those spray bottles, so they'll have like a solution with like water and bleach, and they'll spray down their rake, or they'll spray down their rake and their dustpan or their bucket, and then they have like wet wipes, and they'll wipe everything down. I know my colleague Steven, who showed up earlier, he has a whole setup in the back of his trunk where he has like a big ass container with a bleach solution, and he soaks his equipment in that container in between appointments. And he also has a water backpack or a water sprayer, and he'll spray down his boots in between appointments. So the best thing I can recommend is, if you're using the large yellow dustpan, always put a plastic bag over it. Make sure the plastic bag wraps underneath as well, so you minimize how much the actual plastic is getting like dirty. And always switch out plastic bags when you fill that up. That's how you would prevent like any decontamination, right? Making sure you wash down your equipment, wiping stuff down, making sure you spray the bottom of your boots as well. Yeah, and then try to have separate pairs of shoes, either Crocs or sneakers or boots, so you can leave them outside outside in the yard, or just outside, and not bring them inside in case you weren't able to completely desanitize them, or sanitize them, I mean. Hunter Conley, how did you get your first 20 clients? My first 20 clients, that's a very specific number. My first 20 clients. So when I first started, so I did my Facebook page, started posting on it, started posting in some community groups. I never liked posting dog memes, right? There are some businesses out there where they do really well posting dog memes. That's not, I don't, they're funny, right? But I don't really care about dog memes for my business. So I literally just focused on before and after pictures, one picture, a section of the yard full of dog shit, and then the picture right after when it's completely cleaned. And I used that as my marketing material. Um, and then I just I pumped stuff into Facebook ads, right? I targeted a specific group of people, right? Um, I purposely tried to target females above the age of 30, um, just because I know a lot of them might be moms who are working multiple jobs, or most likely they'll have to like go through their husband anyways because their husband isn't cleaning up after. Like, we all have delineation of responsibilities, right? And most of the time it's the husband who's responsible to go outside and to pick up the dog poop, and a lot of the times they don't, right? So I specifically targeted females, um, women, and then I just focused on like my ad copy, right? The verbiage that you put in your post. So, attention, dog moms of XYZ city, are you having trouble, or are you tired of dealing with all the dog poop in the yard? We offer dog poop pickup services to make your life easier, right? So, just purposely targeting a specific avatar, a specific persona, a person that you are advertising to, right? Um, I did paid ads to that person, and then I slowly started receiving people to reach out to me, right? And when I first started my first year, I just did flat rates. Probably the worst decision I've made. There's all sorts of pricing structures that scooping businesses can adopt, but in my first year, I did flat rates. So people would tell me, yeah, I have 3 dogs and it's been 2 months, right? So I'll be like, okay, $80. And what ended up happening was most of the time, it wasn't 2 months or it wasn't 3 months. It was like 6 months. But because I gave them my word, I told them $80. I didn't have I didn't have the balls to say, hey, by the way, this is a lot more than what I anticipated or what I quoted for. So like I just ate the cost, and the first year I suffered a lot. It was just very frustrating. People there's a lot of shame when it comes to hiring someone to pick up your dog poop, right? Everyone lives crazy lives, everyone's super busy, and then having to ask someone to go to your home and encounter like the mess that's outside and you haven't done anything about it, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of embarrassment. Um, so you just have to remember that, like, go to people with empathy, be empathetic. Um, One of my favorite things to say every time you go to a new customer's house, they're always like, "Oh my god, this is so bad. I'm so sorry." I always tell them, "It's okay. I've seen worse." And that's honestly like the best thing you can say to them. They're like, "Really? You've seen worse? Oh my god." So like just make them feel better and not ashamed that they hired you, because you're providing them a service. You're doing something that they don't want to do, and you're making their lives easier. And people will see the value in that work, right? Don't undervalue your services just because you want to undercut the competition or because you want to be competitive, right? There's infinite ways to figure out how to provide more value to a customer. So don't undercut your services. Don't do shit for free. Omar Flores, do you still charge people the same price if they say you're going on vacation for 2 weeks, or do you give them a discount that month? Do you still charge people the same price if you're going on vacation for 2 weeks, or do you give them a discount for that month? So if I'm going on vacation, um, honestly, it really depends. If it's a customer that I like, and this, I don't know if this is right or wrong. If it's a customer I like, if I build rapport with them, if they say, "Hi, Anthony," if they're excited to talk to me when I send them a message, I'll give them a discount because they've been taking care of me. I'll take care of them, right? And if I'm taking that vacation time, because we should all take vacations, especially as a business owner, you got to focus on having time for yourself and your family, and step outside of work. I'll give them a discount. Now, if they're going on vacation, it depends. Are they taking their dogs with them, or are they asking you to skip but the dogs are still going to be there? If those dogs are still pooping, you're still scooping, you know? So I'm not going to discount them just because they decide they want to skip a week, when it's still going to be 2 weeks worth of poop, um, the next time you go, right? So I do post pay. So I go to someone's house and then I charge them after the visit. A lot of people in this industry, they do prepay. So they'll charge on the first of the month, or they'll require a payment for the entire month before they service. And that's something that I'm trying to push towards moving forward. But as of right now, I do post pay. So in the scenario, if they go on vacation, I skip them for that week, and then the next week I charge double because it's double the amount of poop that I'm picking up. Yes. Sorry, the question was if I go on vacation for 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. It depends on your customer experience. It depends on the relationships you have, right? Like if you want to be cutthroat and you want to like be a proper business person, I mean, you could. Why are your customers entitled to vacation time at their job, and they still get paid, right? We all have paid time off. You should also have paid time off too. So I think you should definitely charge if you go on vacation. So my first complaint. So I talked about my first scoop, but my first complaint. This was still in my first year, right? I'm doing the flat rate price structure, and this lady comes up to me, or this lady reaches out to me, and she tells me she has 11 dogs and she wanted me to come to her house to give her a quote. I'm like, 11 dogs? This is amazing. This is going to be a great opportunity. I go to her house, and her backyard is literally just a whole yard of mud and shit. You can't tell what is what. And like I look around, I really don't know what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, I can do this for $150. And she's like, okay, great. So I schedule her for like the next day, and it's so disgusting. The whole yard is muddy. Everything is all sloppy, gloppy, gooey. Um, I ended up pulling out, I don't remember at this point, maybe like 12 or 13 giant bags from my white bucket that I used in my first year. Um, and I didn't even finish. I probably didn't finish like 40 or 50% of the yard. Um, and I was there for like 5 or 6 hours. At that point, I was just getting tired, and I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I'm not dealing with this anymore. And I left, and I told her like I finished. And then she went back to her house maybe a couple days later, and she's like, excuse me, um, when do you plan on coming back to finish the rest of the yard? And I told her straight up, I told her that this is a lot more poop than what I anticipated. And I'm gonna have to charge her extra for like the rest of the yard because there was still like at least 50%. I filled up their entire garbage can with dog poop for $150. That was not worth it. And I told her I need more. I need more money if you want me to continue doing this. Um, and she was not happy about that. So I just offered to give her a partial refund just to make things right. So um, she paid 150, and I think I gave her back $50 for 5 hours of work. I spent 5 hours scooping for $100. And then at that point, I was like, I'm never going to do flat rates again. And that's when I pivoted to charging by the bag. Um, and probably one of the best decisions I made, other than starting scooping and starting YouTube. How many scoopers do you have on your team? Me and my girlfriend. We just scoop. I still do my full-time day job. I work from home, and I scoop in the afternoon with my girlfriend when she's available. And right now, I just checked my CRM, and we have around 73 appointments scheduled, and that's weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly. So 73 appointments that we have on the schedule between me and her. And I do that after 2:30, 3 o'clock until the sun goes down. And now it's daylight savings and we lost an hour. So I'm freaking out because I have one less hour outside to scoop. And I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But that's the nature of juggling like your side hustle and your full-time job. I'm at the point where I can quit my day job, but I have responsibilities, I have bills to pay, I have student loans to pay, so I haven't allowed myself to think about quitting, if that makes sense. I think postpaid would be a pain at times unless you had a card on file. Yes, and you definitely need to have a card on file. When I started, um, I didn't have a card on file. All I did was I did everything through Facebook and I accepted payments in cash or Venmo. And what ended up happening, um, I would service someone's yard and then they would just ghost me or they wouldn't pay me until like a week or two later. So I really needed to figure out a way to get a card on file, right? So like that was my first year. I ended up making $13,000 in my first year just through Venmo and Facebook. But then in my second year, I needed to figure out a way to um, manage my business and to get a card on file, which perfectly segues into the sponsor for our video today.
It took me 30 minutes to get the job done. It's because I spent the last 10 years mastering it. The early mornings, the late nights, the weekend jobs. Every hour spent learning my trade, perfecting every process, and providing 5-star service. You see, it's not just the hours you're paying me for. It's the true value of the dedication to my craft. Because it's more than just one job or minutes in a day. You hired me for the years, not the minutes.
Built by you, powered by Jobber.
Jobber was the solution that I made to take my business to the next level. Um, Using Jobber in my business was it completely changed the trajectory of my my scooping empire, to say the least. My first year, I start the first year I made $13,000, and then by the end of the second year, with a whole year of Jobber under my belt, I made $55,000, and a lot of that was requiring deposits, right? And when I require a deposit, it makes them save their card on file. I can do automatic notifications, right? So I spend so much time just sending the same text over and over, but with Jobber, it has automated notifications. So I have my customers, they'll get an email the day before and then a text message 30 minutes before the scheduled time. And that just saves me a lot of time. Just earlier today, I was doing a bunch of scoops and people were filling out my intake form on my website. I have a bunch of questions on my website. They can fill that out. It gets sent to Jobber, and then I send them a quote immediately, right then and there, where they have to pay the deposit, right? So investing in a CRM is really important if you really want to scale your business outside of a side hustle. So if you are interested in getting Jobber, right, you can use the link poopscoopsfornoobs.com/Jobber. And when you sign up through my link, you get a 14-day free trial plus my exclusive discount. And I'll send you this awesome document called that my girlfriend and I made called the Jobber Cheat Sheet for Pooper Scoopers. And it has all of the configurations, all the settings, all of my email templates, everything that I've used for Jobber to help you get set up as fast as possible. So if you want to try out Jobber, 14 days free and exclusive discount, poopscoopsfornoobs.com/Jobber. What do you what do you do personally when it snows, bad snowstorm? Do you push them out a week, still charge for the visit, or try to get them in the day before? That's a great question because last year um, was a record-breaking year for my state. We ended up getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of inches of snow, and honestly, it was like the worst experience ever. I had so much PTSD last winter um, because of all the snow that kept happening. So because I'm on post pay, right? I felt like I had an obligation to show up at their house to get paid, even if I went to their house and I just scooped up one piece of poop, as long as if it was safe for me to drive and it wasn't like icy on the roads. Um, I went to their yard and I picked up as much as I could, right? You just shuffle through all the snow and I picked up what I could, right? And I just told my customers, I was like, hey, I'm going to continue to service you all year long, even through all the snow. Even if I just pick up one poop pile, that's one less piece of poop that could accidentally be tracked inside from like soggy paws from your dogs having fun outside in the snow. And then I would charge them. This is the issue with post pay, right? I felt the need to go to their house, even though it probably didn't make sense because I couldn't pick up that much poop, right? So that's one thing I have a lot of anxiety about this coming season, because last year was so much snow, and I don't know if we're gonna have that much snow this year. Um, so if everyone was prepaid, then it doesn't matter if it snows or not, right? You still got paid, and the poop is still gonna be there. So you just go when it's safe to do so. And then once all the snow melts, because they've been on your weekly schedule, um, they don't have to deal with like the spring cleanup fee, or just you should always charge more during the springtime, right? Because that's when everyone is reaching out to you for to pick up months and months of poop that's just been um, packed down with all the snow, right? So at least with your weekly customers, because you've been servicing them, you just do their spring cleaning at just that weekly cost, and it doesn't you still got paid for the weeks and months that you couldn't pick up all that poop, right? So it all balances out in the end. How do you handle vicious dogs? Benjamin Franklin. How do you handle vicious dogs? It's super scary with the vicious dog, right? The most important thing is having proactive communication. Um, Speaking with your customers or talk with your customers, send them an on the way text, right? At least if you send them a text 30 minutes to an hour before you're supposed to show up, right? It should give you 9 times out of 10, it should give them enough time to put their dog inside. Um, but I've had a couple of instances before I actually had Jobber with all my automated notifications, right? I had a couple instances where a dog would be let out and they just start snarling at you, right? So what I would do is I would have my rake and my bucket in between me and the dog, and I immediately put my back to the fence, right? Because a vicious dog, they'll try to circle around you to just get you from a different angle, right? So you want to back up and put your back against like the fence line and slowly start to walk to the gate and make sure you have your equipment between you and their dog. If that dog jumps at you or starts like attacking you, then you have full permission to defend yourself, right? If you get hurt, if your hand gets bit, if your face gets um mangled up, that's going to impact your ability to provide for your family, right? So if a dog starts attacking you, defend yourself at all times. I had an instance where a dog bit me. There was one time where um, I was servicing this customer's yard, and she would leave her dogs in the kennel outside. So I went to her yard. The dogs are in the kennel, and this is nothing weird, right? I've serviced her yard before while they've been in the kennel. I go through the yard. One of their dogs actually escaped the kennel and started charging right towards me. I put my bucket and my rake in between me and the dog. The dog jumps up, he's just super pissed off because I'm inside his yard, right? But then he calms down. And then stupid me, right? I'm like, okay, this dog's calm. He went out to a different part of the yard. So I just continued to service the yard. And then out of nowhere, this dog jumps up and bites me right on my ass cheek. And it was just crazy. You feel this adrenaline dump. My ears are ringing. I'm freaking out because like I just got bit and I'm so pissed. And I immediately turn around and like I try to just shoo the dog away with my equipment. That dog jumps up. He also bit me on the arm and tried to nip me on the face. And that was just a super scary situation. I've had dogs corner me in the yard maybe 3 or 4 times, but that was the only time I actually got bit. So after I got bit, I still finished the rest of your yard. I'm so stupid, right? But after I finished scooping, I went to my car and I messaged her. I was like, "Hey, your dog escaped the kennel and bit me really hard on the ass." And I went to urgent care. They checked me out. um I was telling my girlfriend this the other day, like I was just recalling the story about getting bit, right? And like I'm laying in the room, right? The I don't know, I'm waiting in the room where they check you out. And she has me pull down my pants so she can like check the wound on my butt cheek. And I just look at her and I'm like, "I'm sorry you have to find me in such a compromising position." So it was not it was not a good experience getting bit. And it's one of those things where like you still struggle with PTSD. Like there are times where like I'm in a yard and the neighbor's dog comes out and my heart immediately sinks, or you hear a door open and my heart immediately sinks. Like it affects you for the rest of your life. So if you ever get bit, I recommend going to therapy because that's no joke. And I've talked to a lot of scoopers where they're they have nerve damage on their hands or their legs. Or I There's this one story of the scooper that I know where her face was all messed up and she's scarred forever because of a dog being accidentally let out. So you always have to protect yourself. So you mentioned that you don't do a flat rate but buy the bag. How does that work? So if you I use a large yellow dustpan, right? The one that you can find like in Home Depot. And that dustpan that dustpan fills up around 4 to 5 gallons. So I just tell them that I say I charge um, $45 for the first 5 gallons, and then for each additional 5 gallons after the first bag, I charge X amount, right? So you can play around with those numbers depending on um, the size of the yard or how big the dogs are, because a smaller dog will have smaller poops. So you may want to charge a higher price for the very first bag because it's going to take you a lot longer to fill up the first bag. And you might not even fill up the first bag because of how small the poops are. So you want to play around with the price of the first bag. And then each bag after that, you do a flat rate. So you can do like 40 for the first bag and then 20 for each additional bag. So if they have 3 bags in total, that's 40, 60, $80 for 3 bags. Corey Pelton, sorry if I butchered that last name. Corey, how did you figure out how to price commercial properties? So this is a great question. I get this question a lot. I go to their property. I'll walk the whole perimeter of the property just to see how long it takes me, and then I'll walk through all the common areas and everywhere that I need to scoop. I don't do a scooping pattern where, like, most people they'll do like a grid back and forth, right? I just walked it normally. So because I'm walking it normally, let's say it takes you an hour and a half to walk a property normally. I double that time because it's always going to take you twice the amount of time to actually scoop, because it just takes time to scoop and to pay attention and do your grids, right? So I doubled that time and then I multiplied that by my hourly rate. Excuse me. So let's say your hourly rate is $60 and it took you an hour to walk that property, right? So if it took you an hour to walk that property, it's 1 hour times that by 2, because it should always take you double. So that's 2 hours. And then you multiply 2 hours times 60. So that apartment would cost $120. And then at that point, you're able to do a lot of interesting calculations for the property manager. You always want to ask them how many units do they have on the property, um, And if you also want to ask about their waste stations, because you should do, at least I try to do a flat rate for the waste stations, like $10 to $15 for each station, depending on how far that station is to like a trash can. If it's like in the middle of the field, right, that'll take you time to walk to the waste station and then walk back. Um, but you want to ask about how many units they have on the property, right? So back to our example, if it costs $120 for that location, right? If you ask them, how many units do you have on this property? And they say 60 units on this property. So you divide 120 divided by the number of units, and it would cost that property $20 per unit to charge to pay you for your services. And what ends up happening is most of these property managers, they're just going to put that cost to their tenants, to their residents. So it's important to actually break down how much is this going to cost the property per unit so they know how much to charge their tenants. Speedy Scoop. Woohoo! Thank you for joining today. I'm going to talk about losing a commercial account, right? We did some questions on commercial properties, and I talked about my first apartment complex, but losing a commercial account. I made a chit chat video a couple of months ago about your word is your bond in business. And this property manager reached out to me and she wanted me to service 4 of her properties. So they asked for a bunch of things, but mostly she asked for pictures of the property every time we found poop in the yard or we found poop on her property. She wanted us to take a picture of that along with like the general location, because they have that DNA testing for their tenants. They have another third party who goes to their property. They pick up these poop samples and then they send those poop samples to a laboratory, and they can find like the genetic markup of like whose dog this is, and then they can fine their tenants for not picking up after themselves. And this property manager told me how she has tenants who pay thousands and thousands of dollars a year in fees just because they didn't pick up their dog poop, and they got caught, and they didn't care. They just kept paying that fee, right? So she asked me to take pictures of the property or take pictures of the poop on the property, as well as providing notifications to her. So I added her on Jobber, right? And she wanted twice a week service for her 4 properties. So she was going to receive 8 email notifications and 8 text messages every single week. And I felt like that was too much, right? So stupid me, I turned off those notifications. So we serviced her property for like the whole month, and I unfortunately did not take pictures of the yard like I promised, and she didn't receive those notifications, right? So the month ends and I reach out to her just to see how things are going. And she was like, things are going horribly. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, yeah, like you haven't kept any of the promises that you promised me, any of your commitments you promised me. I haven't received any before. I haven't received any pictures. I haven't received any notifications from you. And how can you tell me that you're doing a great job when my people went to XYZ property and they picked up 50 gallons of poop in their property? And I'm like, 50 gallons of poop? Like, what are you talking about? And she just blew up on me. Long story short, I serviced 4 of her properties, but she had a 5th property that she didn't sign me up for, but she was complaining about that 5th property. So if I kept my proactive communication with her, they would have seen like, oh, Anthony is servicing these 4 properties. Maybe we need to onboard this 5th one. And it was just a really bad experience. She was super pissed. I tried saving that relationship. I sent her a really long email. I took ownership of the situation, saying like I messed up and we're here and we're committed to make things right and to service your property to the expectations that you had, and she wasn't having it, right? So I call that the word. Your word is your word is your bond in business, right? If you tell a customer, a prospect that you're going to do something, you really have to keep that word, because until they continue working with you over a period of time and you've built that rapport, the only thing that they can judge you based off of is the actions that you take or you don't take. And I messed up by promising more than what I can keep, and I lost that account. And the crazy thing is, one of her properties is literally 3 minutes away from me. So every single day when I'm driving home from Scoops, I just see that apartment complex, and I just, I feel this dark pit in my stomach. Like, why did I mess up? I'm still pissed about that, but I plan on reaching out to her in the beginning of the year, maybe after a bunch of snow, and just tell her like, hey, new year, new me. Let me scoop your dog shit. Corey, in your opinion, what's the best way to advertise? Facebook ads versus Google ads? So I believe ads, paid ads specifically, um, they amplify what you currently have. Um, these platforms, they have a vested interest in taking your money and showing your product or your service to as many people as possible, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to convert people to either go to your website or reach or send you a message to so you can take them through your sales funnel, or just sign up, right? So when it comes to like paid ads, um, I think it's a mixed bag, and it really depends on your area. For me, my Google ads suck. I spend a lot of money on Google ads, and I've been working on doing manual CPC, right, cost per click, and I don't like doing any of like the automatic conversions that Google has. Um, even though their AI is like a lot smarter and they know like when to bid higher or lower, right? But I like setting a specific price for my keywords on Google. And I sometimes I get a lot of clicks, but I don't get a lot of people reaching out to me, right? On Facebook, um, it it really depends, with the time of the year, right? On Google, people have an intention, right? You go on Google because you're trying to figure out a problem. So people who find you on Google, they already have the intention of getting their yard scooped up. When it comes to Facebook, they don't have that intention, right? They're scrolling through their feed, and then you're interrupting their experience with your ad, with your video ad or your picture ad on their feed. And if you capture their intention, if you capture their attention long enough, then they might actually take the action that you tell them to take. So really, it just really depends on your strategy, right? I think Google ads can be really powerful because of the search-based intentions, but Facebook ads, there's a huge market for advertising on Facebook. It just depends on the time of the year, depends on who you're targeting. It depends on the pictures you use, or you use videos, right? I do a lot of video editing for YouTube. So I try to do a lot of video ads for my business, and video ads, they do a lot better, um, compared to just still images, right? We're constantly scrolling. I remember a study that Netflix made where they said, on average, a viewer spends 3.7 seconds on a thumbnail before they scroll to something else, right? So when you're on a Facebook feed, people are just scrolling with all these images. But if they see a moving picture like a video, they'll stop for a split second, and if you capture their attention, then they're more likely to watch the rest of the video and then take the action that you're asking them to do. Have you ever used UPS, marketing mail, and EDM? That is a great question, Benjamin Franklin, and that is something that I am going very hard in the next month or two. I've been doing a lot of research on EDDM and direct mail marketing. A lot of what I learned from about direct mail is from this guy. It's too bright. Dan Kennedy. I bought Dan Kennedy. I bought a bunch of Dan Kennedy books. And this dude, he's the godfather of direct mail marketing. So for people who don't know, right, EDDM means every door direct marketing. So USPS and other providers, they have this service where with EDM specifically, you can select a neighborhood or a zip code or a town or a route, and you can get a postcard or a letter or something via snail mail sent to that route. With direct marketing, you need to have a specific list that you've created yourself, like all the customers that's reached out to you in the past or all the people that you've serviced in the past. Or you can work with a list broker. There are a lot of services out there where they can create a list for you specifically. EDDM is like a shotgun blast. It goes out to everyone on the route. Direct mail marketing, you send them a postcard or a letter or stuff in snail mail directly to a specific group of people. So I'm going down the direct mail route, right? I'm working with um, a uh, a provider where he's going to create a list for me. And this list, you can create all sorts of criteria, right? So you can specify, okay, I want a list of everyone in this town who makes more than $55,000 a year, who has at least one dog, who is married, who has this kind of education or this kind of job. You can go very, very specific on your targeted list for direct mail. And the more targeted you get, the better it is, because then you can create your postcard or your letter with that avatar in mind and speak to them directly. We all have examples of, like, go to your mailbox and you'll have postcards of people who, like, they just a random, like, a pizzeria or a car mechanic or like whatever business in your neighborhood. I'm sure you received a bunch of postcards in the mail. I have a bunch of postcards here, right? Since I've been doing a lot of studying with EDDM, right, I've been collecting postcards just to see like how people are like just doing their advertising. But with EDDM, it's a shotgun blast, right? So EDDM is great for businesses that target like the whole population, like a restaurant or a mechanic, like businesses like that where everyone needs to go to this type of business. EDM is really good. But for our types of businesses where we have a very specific audience that we are working toward or that we want to work for, I would recommend direct marketing, because if you do EDDM, you're going to send out a postcard like this to an entire neighborhood, but there's going to be a subset of those people, or maybe a large subset of those people, where they don't even have a dog. So then you're spending your advertising budget sending a postcard out to someone who doesn't even have a dog and they won't even do service with you. So great question. Definitely direct marketing. God, I'm losing my voice. I'm just losing my voice. Great questions today, though. I appreciate all the love and the engagement. So, we're at the hour mark. There was one thing that I wanted to do for people who are joining the live stream, right? I did say we were going to do a giveaway. So I'm using this giveaway tool from StreamYard. There's a word on the screen. All you need to do is type that word in the chat and then it'll put you in this drawing, and then it's going to randomly select a person. And what I plan on doing is I have a store, poopscoopsfornoobs.com/store. Um, and I have a bunch of products available. I have coaching calls. I have contracts or terms of service. I have before and after pictures. I have um, this really great bundle of 140 before and after pictures, along with Facebook audience keyword list for pooper scoopers. This one has like the keyword list for an audience, for targeted audience ads on Facebook. And it also comes with, I think, 20 or 30 ad copies that you can already use for your ads, right? So with this giveaway tool, you only have one entry. We need more people to enter, right? But I'm going to do a random selection. And whoever gets selected will get whatever they want in from the store. 3 entries. So you just gotta type it in once. And not Scooper with LOL, Steven. Just Scooper. 5 entries. Scooper. Just going to give it a couple of minutes to see if anyone else wants to join the giveaway. I think that's it. So I'm gonna draw, and we see who wins. Corey, you won. So, Corey, send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find me. Make sure you show me a screenshot of like your screen name, so I can verify that it's you. And we can work together on you getting something free on my website. Because you guys are awesome. We're just gonna do that again. I'm gonna do one more giveaway. This one is going to be called Noobs. So type in the word noobs, and we'll do another raffle, another giveaway. Noobs with a Z does not count. Noobs. Yasel Ruiz, it's good to see you. We've exchanged messages before. It's awesome to see you. Come on, we need more entries. In the meantime, let me put some music on. Mark Gromer, come on, just put in. Yeah, there you go. Put in Noobs. Steven Noobs. Dang, we need that one more person. Who was that one person who showed up earlier? Uh-oh. You're lagging bad. I'm sorry, buddy. Am I lagging? I don't think I'm lagging. Five. Okay, well, we had 5 before. We're going to have 5 again. So, Corey, you already won one, so maybe you're about to double dip. We're about to see. Fritz the horrible. Yeah. Congrats, Fritz. Send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find me, and we will figure out. We'll figure something out. So I think that's it for today, guys. I love you all. It's been an awesome stream. Let me know if you want me to do some more of these because I had a lot of fun. But I definitely need something to drink. So thank you for following this journey. I can't tell you how much it means to me being able to just talk about dog poop on the internet and make videos and learning more about myself as a content creator. And just, I really, really hope that you can see the passion that I have when I make my videos. And I genuinely hope that you've learned something from all this shit talking that I do online. What do you charge for Wishy Wash? This is something that I've been trying to figure out myself. So I started at like $39.99 for one-time applications, and no one ever signed up for that. So then I went to like $29.99, and no one signs up for that. I've been doing $24.99, and that's been working a little bit. And recently I've been framing the Wishy Wash into like a service package, right? So earlier today, I told someone I can add my sanitizing package for them, which would include a spray 2 times a month, and I would do that for $47, for example. So because I put it in that wrapper of a package, they actually like that, right? So just because one way doesn't work, maybe you just have to put a different type of wrapping paper and a bow on it and just try to explain the value that a customer would have. So that's what I would recommend. Thank you for being you. Thank you, Corey. Have a good evening. Thank you, Benjamin. It was nice talking to you today. Grats, guys. Thank you, Stephen. I'm at $6.95 each scoop. $6.95 each scoop. Like, you charge $7 for each scooping appointment. You charge $7 for each scooping appointment. Steven, I charge based on a time estimate. Yeah, Steven has a great pricing model. I think he charges, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he charges like $30 or $45 for just to show up, and then he does 15-minute increments. I need to know about this. I'm at $6.95 each scoop. No, I add $6.95 to apply Wishy Wash after each scoop. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that's super low because it probably takes you 5 to 10 minutes just to take like your hose out if you brought your own hose and then connect to their water source, unless you're walking around with like a water backpack sprayer or like just a small sprayer. Like, bump that to $15 at least, or put it in like a package, right? If they sign up for a monthly service, say, okay, we do $50 for your scooping appointment, right? Or we can do this add-on bundle and charge a bit more just to do wishy-washy each time. I've only been in business 6 months. I'm learning. Yeah, there's a lot to learn. Probably the biggest thing is upping your prices, because that's what kills most people in any small business, any service-based business. It's your prices. We want to stay, people want to be competitive with like the franchisees out there, right? But what people don't understand is like a franchise can afford to do a free month. I have this one franchise over here. They've been losing so many customers, and now they're offering 2 free months of service. These types of businesses can afford having free service because they have route density. They have so many customers in a small area, so they can afford giving away services for free. When you're brand new, you don't have that luxury. So the best thing you can do is focus on the value that you provide them. Try to have proactive communication. Actually show up to the appointments. A lot of these bigger franchisees, and I'm not hating on franchisees. It's a different business model. I know a lot of great people who own franchises, right? I would never hate on a franchise. A lot of these franchisees or franchises, um, they just don't show up. I've gotten so many customers because XYZ company kept charging kept charging for service, but they haven't scooped the yard in like 3-4 weeks. That's not acceptable. So if you can just do the bare minimum of what other businesses aren't even doing, like that's going to take you really, really far. Steven says my estimates are based on $2 a minute. Yeah. I always preach try to get $1 or $2 a minute, right? So $2 a minute. I wish I think my post pay rates. I've been raising my prices more to people, or at least for new customers. I think I'm averaging around $2 a minute now for my weekly appointments. Mark Gromer, will you look at my pricing? Yeah, just send me a message online. Send me like a message on Instagram or Facebook, or an email, right? You can find my email on my website, but I think it's support at poopscoopsfornoobs.com. Yeah, just send me that info and I can definitely check it out. But I think that's it, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you all. Everyone was awesome. This was a great live stream. I had a lot of fun chatting with everyone. Oh, Yasel, in my area, we are the only pooper scooper business. We're having a hard time getting new customers. What should we do? We're the only pooper scooper business. We are having a hard time getting new customers. What should we do? Well, the first thing that you should do is not stop. It could be because of the season, right? I think it really depends on where you're located. I know some businesses they don't see a lot of new business during the summertime, and things start picking up during the wintertime, especially when it starts snowing because people just don't want to be outside. Um, so it depends on your location. And I would just talk to like all of my customers, right? One of the things that a lot of people neglect is their own referral program, right? If you have I was listening to the podcast, right? Like everyone has at least 52 people that they can invite to a wedding or to a funeral, right? So if you think of it that way, everyone should have at least 52 people that they might give you their information, or they might reach out to they might tell their friends and family about your services, right? So a big thing is like focusing on like your referral program. Do you offer any kind of free service for for every referral you get? I'm in the process of overhauling my referral program, where I'm going to start donating to a local charity, um, $25. So every time a customer gets referred to me, I'm going to donate $25 on behalf of that customer to this local animal shelter. And the hope is people are going to feel like, oh, wow, I'm helping the community. I'm helping dogs out there because there's a huge problem with overcrowded shelters. You're going to help people feel like they actually matter and that first, they're helping you. And if they're referring you, they obviously love you, and they're helping out the community, right? So I would really focus on like a referral program. Mark says create awareness. Yard signs. Yard signs is a great marketing tool for you. There's always, at least for me, there's always that worry of a competitor just wanting to get in a yard sign war with you, and like they'll start taking down your yard signs. I really recommend, if you want to go down yard signs, you probably want to look for a manufacturer that will produce lawn signs for you at really, really cheap. I've seen prices between like $5 to $10. But I'm at the point where I'm actually going to I'm in the process of going on Alibaba, Chinese man. It's like the Chinese Amazon, and working directly with a Chinese manufacturer. And I'm going to try to get super, super cheap lawn signs so I can blast them out everywhere. I sent you a message on Poop Scoops for Noobs on Facebook. Thank you, Corey. I will check that message when I'm done with the live stream. So I know this is the third time I say goodbye. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed the live stream, let me know. Hit the like, subscribe, share this with all your scooper friends. Trying to grow this channel as much as possible. I'm here to serve you all, and collectively, we need to make this industry better. We got to grow the shit out of this industry. So just remember, keep charging as much as you can, because there will be someone who's going to pay for those prices, and never give up. You are doing amazing where you are. Just keep going, and you're gonna go far, right? Just, I always like saying, try to be 1% better a day, right? If you're 1% better a day, if you do that over and over, you will go really far. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for everything. And as always, acknowledge the now. Bye.